If you were to ask somebody who represents heroism best inside of anime, they'd give you a few different answers, but one thing I will tell you is that I doubt they would say anybody from the big three. And to me that's kind of insane, as all three of them are the heroes of their own story, yet they're never mentioned. You'd hear somebody mention somebody like Shinra, Deku, or even Tanjiro way before you hear anybody talk about Luffy, Ichigo, and Naruto. So in today's video, I've decided to take it upon myself to give them the spotlight they deserve and to truly explain to you guys how they represent their own versions of heroism, and why at the end of the day, even if they try to not call themselves a hero, they technically are. So strap in, because I'm going to get real in depth with this video. But before I get into the video, if you guys enjoy content like this, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe, as I do post content like this regularly, and to be honest, it's a win-win. You guys show me love and support, and I give it back to you in the form of videos. Whether it's the big three, other anime, or just fiction in general, in due time I plan on covering it, so be there when I go there. With that being said, I feel like I've rambled on long enough, so I'll jump straight into the video and explain to you guys how heroism is represented inside the big three. Now, out of the three of them, I do believe that everybody should be able to come to a conclusion on who they believe is the most heroic and who isn't. A lot of people will say that Naruto is most likely the most heroic while Luffy is the least. I mean, Luffy is a pirate and Naruto is the Hokage. I mean, Naruto is literally the hero of the leaf, while Luffy is going around terrorizing, in quotation marks, the One Piece world. But when you look at their actions, you can tell that both of them are just as heroic as the other. It's just that the way they go about it is different, and Ichigo is in the exact same bracket. All three of them have their own ways of heroism. Luffy is the fated hero, Naruto is the chosen hero, and Ichigo is the destined hero. And you could say that in a way that's technically the exact same thing, as technically a destined hero was fated to be one, or they were chosen to be it, but at the exact same time, the way they go about it really does earn them that separate title that the other just can't get, or the other just doesn't fit as much as the other. Now, I know immediately the first thing that a lot of people are going to say is that Luffy isn't a hero. Now, are we really going to take that at face value just because he says it? Or are we really going to look at the definition, then look at his actions, then piece it together, and then even see what he is destined or just fated to do, and then continue with that narrative? The reason Luffy believes he isn't a hero is because he's selfish and wants to have all the food in the world to himself. And I mean, I would agree with him if his actions didn't say another thing. In Wano, Luffy sees that Otama and the people of Wano are starving and makes a vow to make sure that they can eat all the time. Now, this is something that Luffy says that he's extremely selfish about, and says that, oh no, I want all the meat and the food in the world. You literally have just gone against it, showing that you are selfless at heart. You yourself believe that you are selfish, but you're not really. Now, that's not to say that Luffy isn't selfish. We've quite literally seen him eat his crew's food while they're trying to get to Whole Cake Island, and then in turn nearly killed himself because of it. I'm not here to say that he isn't selfish, but I'm definitely not here to say that he's not selfless. The reason Luffy doesn't identify with being a hero is because he believes that heroes are idealistic and can't be selfish in any sort of way. Yet, whenever it comes down to it, he's probably the most selfless person inside the One Piece verse. As we've seen time and time again, heroes can be selfish in their own little ways. They don't always have to be selfless, but when it comes down to it, when they really need to be selfless, they are selfless. Time and time again, Luffy has shown us why he is the liberator of his era and generation. He has gone around to several nations and inspired them, making them want to follow him and in turn against the government. Now, one point I do want to reaffirm is the fact that Luffy isn't some ideal hero. He is somebody that has many flaws. In fact, he even freed many prisoners from Impel Down just to save his brother. Luffy isn't written to be this perfect person, as he does have these selfish things that he does want to do. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, he will be selfless and will sacrifice himself for the greater good. Because if that wasn't the case, he wouldn't have said everything that he said to Kaido Doflamingo, and Crocodile, and just many other villains that he does come across. If Luffy really didn't care about being a good person or just helping out people here and there, half of the story just wouldn't exist, meaning that it would make no sense for me to make this video, as he wouldn't be a liberator and in turn wouldn't be a hero. But in reality, he is. Even if he wants to deny it, he is a hero at the end of the day. And to be honest, once he ate the Nika fruit, he was fated to be a hero. But I'll come back to Luffy's character a little bit later when talking about all three of them. When I jump into Naruto and explain why Naruto is the chosen hero. Now out of these three, I think it's easy for us to say that Naruto accepts being a hero, as when he is praised to be one, he accepts it, and on top of that, inside of the Leaf Village at least, the Hokage is seen as that heroic figure, or just that figure that you strive to be. So why did I give him the chosen mantle and not somebody like Luffy or even Ichigo? Now before I say anything, I just want to say that me calling Naruto the chosen hero doesn't mean that I see him as some Jesus-like character. No, Naruto is actually far from it, as if you look at all of the things that he had to go through to then get to where he's at, he isn't somebody that is instantly powerful and is all-knowing and just knows what to do. No, Naruto trips and falls all the time. But when it came down to it, who did the people of the Leaf choose to be their hero? It was him. Naruto does have a great case of being the destined hero, but in my eyes, the moment he was chosen to be the Hokage, he was the chosen hero. The reason Naruto was chosen is because of his efforts. Throughout the story, we see his heroic qualities and how he is somebody that is extremely selfless. Yes, you can say that him wanting to become the Hokage was selfish, but at the end of the day, the way he got it was through him being selfless and putting everybody first and then putting himself last. At points we do get to see Naruto be selfish, like when he meets Minato and he gets mad at him for leaving him. But at the end of the day, he understands that that's what the Hokage had to do, so he's gonna let it slide, and that is just him showing his maturity and how he can be selfless even when it comes down to traumatic things that happen inside of his life. And that's why I do believe he is the chosen hero, is because everything that happens throughout his life allows him to be perfectly qualified to meet the Hokage spot, and in turn saving the world when they needed him. Against Gaara he showed up, against Pain he showed up, against Obito, Madara, Kaguya, and then finally at the end of Shippuden, Sasuke, he was there, and so it made him the chosen hero, as the people chose him, as he showed time and time again that no matter what, he will be there and he will save them. Me labeling Naruto the chosen hero doesn't necessarily mean that I'm saying the universe said he will be their savior. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that Naruto was chosen by the people that shunned him, and then he became the chosen hero, as they saw time and time again. Yes, even if he did have the tools necessary to get things done, he utilized it, as we all know, even though he had the tools weren't really working with him, so he had to make it work. That's just who Naruto is, and that's why I do believe that he is the chosen hero. But how about Ichigo? What makes him the destined hero? Now the obvious answer is Aizen, but I do believe that there is more there that we can explore. Ichigo by all means was set up by his story to become a hero. Now Ichigo himself doesn't go around calling himself a hero, as he is only doing what he's doing to protect his family and friends. But even from the start, if you just look at his actions, you can see that he just has a natural heroic spirit, as if he didn't, then he wouldn't have saved Rukia and just would have went about his day. But he knew what needs to be done and immediately took action, saving her. And then countless times throughout the story, we then see his heroic spirit come out time and time again. But in my opinion, I feel like it really bloomed when he was asked to save the Soul Society. As when he was asked to save the Soul Society, he could have easily just said, well, I can save my friends and get out. But he knew that whatever happened in the Soul Society would affect him, meaning that it was his job to save it. And even though he didn't land the final blow, he followed up on it and used everything that he could to take down Yhwach. And so what makes him the destined hero is extremely obvious in my eyes. I view him in the exact same bracket as somebody like Mark, as these two were kind of destined to be heroes in the long run, as it just ran in them. And what I mean by that is their blood and how their powers is directly tied to their blood. From the moment he met Rukia, or just the moment Aizen decided to set his plan up, Ichigo was destined to become a hero and would shine under the light. And what I love about Ichigo's character is, in another universe, he technically could be evil. I mean, there's nothing really stopping him. For somebody like Naruto as well, that is very possible, and with Mark, I mean, we've seen his multiverse. With every single power system at his fingertips, Ichigo was destined to be something. There was no way that he was just going to be some random fodder or just some random guy. No way. He was going to be something huge, and what he chose was to be a hero. And that's what I like about Ichigo. I know a lot of people may say that they don't like how the universe is basically just in his favor, and obviously everything's in his favor because his powers and whatnot, but I kind of like it because it shows us what he can do and how he's able to then utilize all of his powers to then save everybody around him. I find that kind of interesting, and I like the way that he uses all of his powers and how he can then relate to each part of his powers to then make himself that man that he needs to be. And that goes for One Piece and Naruto as well. How the big three represents heroism as a whole is different from each other, but the exact same when you really look at it. All three of these guys technically only want to protect their family and friends, but they know that there is a greater purpose out there for them, so they'll do it. Luffy will do it just because he wants to and just because he knows it's the right thing to do, while Naruto genuinely just wants to save people, and Ichigo does it because his family and friends could be in danger. As I said in the beginning, Luffy is most likely to be the least heroic on a day-to-day basis, while the other two will be more heroic on a day-to-day basis. I'll say Naruto the most, Ichigo second, and then Luffy third. But as we know, that's on a day-to-day basis. Luffy is a pirate, Ichigo is a regular man, and Naruto is the Hokage. So easily you should be able to tell who is going to be the most heroic on a day-to-day basis. But when it comes down to it, none of them are more heroic than the other, as I do believe that they are at the highest point of heroism. Even though each series does have an argument to say, oh, they technically portray themselves the exact same way as they're all destined, fated, or just chosen to be the heroes of their universe, yes, that may be the case, but when it comes down to it, they do it in their own little different ways, but at the end, you could say it's the same. Their actions are different, but their personalities and what drives them is different. Luffy is a natural liberator, so him as a person, he's there to liberate everybody around him, and he is fated to liberate the whole entire world. Naruto was this shunned kid that is now given the spotlight because everybody can now see that he's no longer a nuisance, but he's actually just their savior and somebody that wants to save everybody around him. And Ichigo is somebody that you just can't look away from. He has every single power system inside of him, meaning that you have to look at him and say he has to be one of the strongest, we have to rely upon him. He is somebody that when you look at him, you have to say, yeah, he is the one that will most likely save us, as he has the most potential, meaning he was destined to do it from the start. And when you look at them on paper, realistically, these guys should be idealistic, because look at their powers and look who they're meant to be inside of their universes. All three of them are meant to be the pinnacle of power and just who you're meant to be inside the universes, yet they decide to take a spin on it and decide to be their own person. They all have selfish tendencies far greater than Superman's for Lois Lane. Luffy will drop everything to save somebody that he loves. Naruto will do everything to save somebody that he also loves, and Ichigo will do the exact same thing. Not to say that Superman wouldn't, but there was a level of them just dropping everything just for that one person. If it was for the greater good of the world, Superman knows what he needs to do, but these three, they know that their loved ones come first. There's this selfish desire and drive behind them that makes them extremely human and makes us love them. For Naruto it's Sasuke, for Luffy it's his crewmates and his brothers, and for Ichigo it's his family members or just people that he loves inside the Soul Society. Now I do want to mention that inside of Boruto something does happen, but that doesn't really affect just one person. It affected the whole Leaf, meaning that everybody inside the Leaf was going to be affected, so Naruto did what he needed to do. I'm not going to say what he did, and I'm not going to show on the screen what he did, but just know that it was something really big, and I don't think everybody's heard of it just yet, but it's pretty big though. So how heroism is represented inside the big three, well, in my eyes it's the exact same, but the characters that are portraying this heroism are different at their cores, allowing us to then see them portray it in their different ways. Yes, all of them do have this sort of chosen one or destined one or just fated one thing about them. They're all fated or destined or chosen to be the hero of their universe, but at the end of the day, what separates them is their personalities, allowing us to see it in 3 different ways. Through their 3 different personalities, we get to see them portray this version of heroism, but in 3 different lights, which in turn allows us as the audience to feel like it's very unique and new. So, we made it to the end of the video. I do have other videos like this planned, so do stick around. And yeah, I love you all. Thank you for the support. And so I shall see you guys in the next video. I love you all. Goodbye.